For the first reading, I would like to point out one thing, that is, by this reading, God asks us to see all the creatures as a symbol and sign of His presence. If we listen closely to the reading, we would know that after flooding all the earth and destroying everything, for Noah and his family, and also all the creatures that come along with him, were saved. Everything was destroyed. But God then is sorry about what He had done. And He said, first, He revealed again new things, all creatures and fruits and plants, to give food to the man. But lastly, He said, He promised Himself, even He made a covenant by Himself. He promised not to destroy again humankind. He promised not to hurt again mankind. This promise is embedded by making a covenant. The covenant should be in two parts, because you cannot make a covenant only by one side. But God, He put covenant, and He asked Himself to be obedient to that covenant. He Himself set up the covenant, and He said, I will put my bow, that is a rainbow, say rainbow right now, to be a sign that I will not destroy again the humankind, the earth. And when a man sees this rainbow, he is reminded about God's love, that endless love, that will not destroy again humankind, rather to save humankind. For me, this is a very good symbol for us, because by looking at the rainbow, everybody is reminded about the presence of God. In my person, I see rainbow is very colorful. For me, this sign gives two meanings in relationship with God. The first one, we have to realize that God's plan for us is for salvation. Sometimes we face difficulties in our lives, and sometimes we face the things we cannot bear with. But we have to we have to remember that after the rain, there is rainbow. There is new things coming up. So we have to have hope in our lives. We cannot blame God just because we have difficulties in life. Rather, we ask God also to give the strength for us to overcome our difficulties in life. So, after passing from this difficult time, past the difficult times, we would see how beautiful is our life. Life is stronger when there is difficulty. No one could be stronger without difficulties, facing difficulties in life. The first one, always has hope, because God's plan is all for our salvation. The second point, by looking at the sun, I think God would like to ask us to see His presence by looking what He has done, what He has made. There's so many things in life that we could see the presence of God. The Bible said about the rainbow, but probably we also could see His presence by the signs, other signs. Could be plants, could be creatures, animals, or moments. It means we are living in a certain circumstance that we are ordered we are commanded to see the presence of God by the presence of other creatures. Probably this is also inspires us to set out all the plans to have a good relationship with other creatures. We cannot destroy other creatures, but respect other creatures, because by looking at them, we could see also the presence of God. So now, we have to take a look all that coming out, all that coming with us in our lives, to see the presence of God. I think our consistency about the environment, and also for the institute, for example, Laudato Si, coming out also from this consideration that everything in our life could be a big help for us to see the presence of God, to see the promise of God that is to save us from our life. That's from the first thing. From the gospel, probably we have heard so many comments about these questions. It's very interesting because Jesus would, when he would like to ask this question, who am I? He travels with the disciples to the upper, to the border with the Gentiles. It is rare to see Jesus walking to the border of Israel with the Gentiles. So we have to ask, why he journeyed to Caesarea Philippi only to ask him one question. Takes time. What is this Caesarea Philippi? This place, it's upward, is very well known with the presence of God, Pan, E-A-N, Pan, the God of the shepherds. This God must be served by the shepherds. You know, mostly they are shepherds, the upward. So these gods play a very important role in their lives. They have to serve. They have to give also obeisance and things, to hinder them from bad things. Yeah. When they do not do the obeisance, the sacrifices, this God will be angry. And that's why coming up right now, the word panic comes out from this one, from the God panic. When the God panic is angry, everybody is panicking. Jesus came with the disciples to this area and asked the disciples one simple question: who I am? It is like a final exam after they study, they are with Jesus, and now the questions. So set out from the ordinary journey, the ordinary time, set out to another place, remote place, to ask. But I think Jesus would like to compare about his divinity with this God. So the answer would be, who am I? And I think he hoped the answer would be, you are God. You are God. Because Jesus brought the disciples to this area to see the God plan that played a very vital role for the shepherds. So now he, as a shepherd, came with his disciples, asked them, who am I? But as we listen, the answer coming out from the mouth of Peter, they say, you are the Messiah. And Jesus rebuked him not to spread out about this answer, you are the Messiah. Because people could falsely understand the Messiah in the view of the people. then we start the little person. So that's why it needs the combination from both sides. But I don't want to continue this one. I think for me right now, the answer, the question should be in reverse. We should ask ourselves, not who am I from God, but we have to ask ourselves who we are before God. Who we are. Yeah. Who we are in front of Jesus. Who we are before God. Probably we will say, okay, we are religious mind, we are religious person, we profess our vows, and so on and so forth. But our life has to be according to what we have professed. And I think if we consider who we are, then we can build a very good relationship with God. We can build a very profound relationship with God. Because we consider ourselves, we conscious about our vocation. And sometimes we consider God is God, but we don't consider who we are. That's why we have a very profound knowledge, but less in our personality. So now, the question for us, who are we before God? It includes also what we would like to consume in our life, what reading we have to read, what movie we will to watch, and so on and so forth. Because sometimes we consider our life, ourselves, as a religious person, but in fact, we build our life not too profoundly, not to live our life as a religious life. I think we have to consider this one. If we would like to give the answer about God, then we have to realize about ourselves, who we are before God. Only by answering this one and by living our lives accordingly, then we can give a very honest answer to the question of Jesus, who am I? We ask God so that we can have a very faithful thoughts and very faithful attitude, so that we can give a very good answer, not only as Peter's answer, but our personal answer to the question, who am I from Jesus? May God bless us all. Amen.